Hey, good morning, everyone. It is 7:38 a.m. here where I live, Eastern Standard Time, and today is 7/12/2025, July the 12th. Hey, Babeth. Greetings. I've been awake a long time because Chipper decided to do something frisky downstairs and kind of shook everything up, woke me up. The life with kitties. Hey, Pam. Hey, Boogie. Emma. Hey, Emma. Christine. Hey. Sylvia. Well, good morning, sunshine. Pamela says, gee whiz. I feel like I better perk it up here. Well, y'all, we got some interesting things going on here. G'day from Deborah in Australia. Greetings. Hey, everybody. Hey, Roddy. Ronnie says hello, everybody. Not just me, but everyone. Oh, just a minute. Let me try something. That better? No, maybe not. It just seems, I seem kind of washed out with my little light here. Maybe I'm just pale today. Whew, okay, we got some interesting things going on. Emma says, love watching you. It's a lovely hot day in the UK. How hot is hot in the UK, Emma? And try and do it Fahrenheit for me, you know, because I can't think in Celsius. We think in Fahrenheit here. Oh, still fighting with my little stand here. Oh my goodness. Bonjour from France. Hey there. Helena. Helena. Greetings. Oh my. I want to say hi to everybody. Mick. Greetings. Ty. Hey. I need to quit this. Some people leave when I'm saying hi to everybody. Brandy, good morning. Storming all night. Ooh, not you, what? Oh, sunshine? Was that it? Someone called me sunshine. Oh, I don't know how sunny I am this morning, but let's give this a shot, shall we? Oh, Sugar's gone into meditation zone on the rug. See her there? And Chipper's been a wild cat all night. Crazy stuff. I don't even know what I'm going to see when I go downstairs because it sounds like he knocked things over. Sounds like he had cat fits in the night. Not a happy thing when you're trying to sleep. Okay, we got some nutty looking stuff going on. First of all, let me show you what I saw when I opened up spaceweatherlive.com, pardon me. Look at this. This is what it put for coronal holes. Yeah, how about that? Coronal holes. We got a good deal of the sun covered with something really rough and strange looking and very, very black. Look at that. We've seen this before, but for it to be their display image is kind of odd. Yeah, how about that? I don't think I can get a better image of that. Maybe that's a little better. Look at that. Coronal hole. Coronal holes are supposed to look like this. That's what a coronal hole is supposed to look like. But instead, the image was this. That's a mess. What in the world? Trying to once again get it where you can see it. Look at that thing. I don't know what to say, except I have trouble imagining that this is another season of, quote, eclipses, as they so often throw out there when we get these crazy images. Tell me, if someone saw something like this back in ancient days, could they have called this a sun being covered with something like sackcloth, which is burlap? When I look at that, I'm like, how do you get a shadow on the sun? How do you get a shadow on a lit light bulb? Y'all hear what I'm saying? How does this happen? The coronal hole is supposed to be an opening in the plasma. Oh, okay. We're getting all kinds of notifications that I'm going to have to shut down. We'll put this thing to sleep, and hopefully I won't accidentally turn off the sound or something like I did once before. How could this happen? So coronal holes are openings in the plasma, this gaseous, fiery, electrical stuff that covers the sun and makes it light up like it does. But how do you get something like this? And then after a few moments, we're back to something like this. It comes and it goes. It's just so strange. Very, very odd. And I just wanted to come on and show you that for one thing. Sean Bell says, feeling so tired, thought I'd check and see what's going on in Melbourne, Australia. Hello, it's night here. Well, hey, Sean, I am tired too right now, and I don't know why. I have not sat down and spent the time to figure out and listen to what is making me feel so tired. But it is, I am tired. Emma, 30 degrees, that must be Celsius. I don't know what that means. I can't think in Celsius. I think in Fahrenheit. Okay, so this is the coronal hole, which is pretty darn big. This thing, which is supposed to be an opening in the plasma on the sun. We got a lot of little interesting doodads going on here. Look at this little dark thing here. I'm not getting it to show it very well. We have a lot of stuff going on the sun, and this looks like a filament that might be lifting off. And we got a lot of explosions going on over there. Okay, but this bizarre thing here, when I saw it, it just sort of shook me up. When you wake up early, and I took this somewhere around 6 o'clock this morning, and you see this in the place where there's supposed to be the coronal hole image, I'm like, wow, there's that weird thing again. But we have seen this before. Okay, that was one of the things I wanted you to see. So let's take a look at a few other things. We have this that happened 2 hours ago, it says. And so, when did I take this picture? Not too long ago. So about 2 hours, 2.5 hours ago, we had an M2.32 solar flare. And here's the solar flare over here. I wish they didn't draw the drawing where it cuts right through the image of the solar flare, but they do so often. So there's the solar flare that occurred just a short while ago, and that's not one to sneeze at. An M2.32 is considerable. And then we had a M1.43, and that was not long ago. It was at 12:21. Oh, it was a good while ago. 12:21 a.m. my time. So that was about 7 hours ago, almost. So here's this, and it's even more impressive looking, even though they gave it a smaller number. Let me back it off and see if you can look at that. And ain't that pretty? This is an M1.43. And for those of you who are very new, solar flares go like this in intensity. The very lowest is A, then you got B, and we don't even notice those. And then you have C, and we start noticing C's, especially if it's a high C, because each of these have a number attached to the letter. And the higher the number, the more intense the solar flare in that category. So, looking cross-eyed at you all, AS Chipper wants to say hi. He's mewing a lot this morning, aren't you, boy? Yeah, I know. So, you got A, B, C, M, X. That's the way solar flares go. And Chipper wants to say hi down in the mess underneath my drawing table. What? Everybody's listening to you. Go ahead and say whatever's on your mind. And he went out of camera range. Oh, he's back. Oh, that was your greetings, Chip. Now you need to move on, okay? So, okay, I guess we're not moving on. We're now on the the drawing table. Chip, boy, and he's trying to hug you all and give you a kitty headbutt against the phone like that. You funny boy. Okay, Chip, I hear you. He's cranking up the purrs. All right. You have been rowdy enough. You were the one who made me not get enough sleep, little rascal. I love you, little rascal. And there's Sugar over there being all innocent and harmless and not causing trouble. Okay, Chip, I've got to get this done now. Ah, there you go. Okay, so an M flare is considerable. An M flare is strong. An X is the highest that it goes. And this is a, everybody's sending thumbs up and hearts to you, little Chipper. So this M1.43 is a strong flare. And the M2.32 is even stronger. And the number lets you know about that. And those have occurred just recently. And they got a piece of chipper fur on my nose. Ah, tickle, tickle. So, now, so we're starting out with that really weird coronal hole. And we are going to take a look at some other things that are happening. Check this out. Here we go. Yep, that's another big black spike. Look at that thing. See the background showing right through it? We know it's a pure, straightforward black spike when you can see the background through it. That one was, what, just yesterday? And this one is just a short while ago. And when we have a black spike, you know, we're talking about possible timeline shifts that are available. And you might want to say, well, when did that happen? Okay, well, we know that this happened. Let's figure it out for you because some of you are going to want to know. 12 right here is like midnight Eastern Standard Time. So it's 12, 1, 2. That's about 2:20 last night in the middle of the night. 2:20 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's when this occurred. Now, on the Russian UTC, that is UTC time plus 7 hours. So you all can figure that by wherever you are in the world. For me, it's easier, of course, to put it into Eastern Standard Time, which is New York City time. And there it is. And it's a big one. It's a big black spike. And of course, when we see these, it's indicative of timeline shifts or timeline jumps or spatial anomalies. We see all kinds of things when these are happening, and it's becoming so common because we're at the end of an age. Here we are. We're at the end of this age and going into a new age, coming into a new era. What are we going to do here? We're going to keep our frequency as high as we can, no matter how we're feeling, no matter how our bodies are feeling, no matter how wonky people are acting, because people do tend to act wonky when this sort of stuff is going on. Come to think of it, they're acting wonky all the time. I mean, wonky is becoming the new norm. That we need to remember that one. Wonky is the new norm. So while all these things are going on, which is quite consistent, but we did have a few days where there hasn't been much weather worth mentioning. I didn't really have anything to post. I hope you're wearing your medallions. Hope you're wearing the scalar energy pendants. I hope if you have them, you're wearing the scalar energy bracelets. And yes, I'm not a little teeny woman by any means. My wrist is not one of those tiny wrists. And you can see it's kind of loose on me, but I kind of like it. And the black one is less loose. It's not as long. But I like letting it fall back on my arm. And some people don't like it so loose. So if you get some of the bracelets, you might expect to take it and have a couple of links taken out at a local jeweler or wristwatch place. Or you can wear it as an anklet. Some people wear it as an anklet, but they have the same EMF protection and the different things that scalar energy do. It's all in the bracelets too. Oh, Chipper's having running spells, and now Sugar's getting ready to join them. So it's a cat frolic season at this point. So if you have shungite, get that out and wear it on your person or carry it in your pocket or whatever. I have some right here, some of the pebbles, they call it. They're polished pebbles. I hold on to stuff all the time. I have it all over the house, of course, which is a privilege of having the little shop like I have on mine. And by the way, I have a whole new shipment of shungite coming in. I have been talking to them for almost a year, it seems. I may be totally off on the time. But I've been asked, well, it's been since last November. Feels like a year to me, but it's not quite. They have been not available. And shungite, especially the elite, the most powerful, purest shungite, has not been available because in Russia, where this stuff is from, and I understand it's a little bit into Finland too, but the best stuff is in Russia. And it gets so cold in the area where it is that they can't mine it until the weather warms up. So they've had a big rush on it now. Everybody's trying to get hold of some of it. And I was finally able to get the fellow to respond to me and got hooked up with someone else in that particular mine, where they can fill the order. So it's supposed to be here. I feel like it's taking forever. But when things come from Russia, it takes a long time. Still got about a week, a little over a week before it's supposed to get here. But when it does, I'll let you know. And the Elite Shungite and the different kinds are going to be all available again. Okay, so what I'm trying to say, and Orgonite. If you have Orgonite, I don't carry any on my shop, but Orgonite helps also. I have different pieces of it around my house. Use what you have. Ground yourself. If you have grounding equipment, earthing equipment like this is one of the wristbands that is available on my shop that plugs into your grounding opening on your outlets in your home. All of these things are a lot of help to progress and to work through and flow with this stuff without a bunch of bad symptoms. I was about to make a very bad confession. I was going to say it kills me. It doesn't. It really upsets me to see people suffering and commenting, on the comments, that they're in such, misery and stuff. And that's why I made that shop available. It's why I hunted these things down at good prices so that we don't have to suffer like that. We can help ourselves, and I want you all to take advantage of everything you can. So here we are, Black Spike, timeline shift, yes. Amazing things can happen during these timeline shifts. I'm not going to go into detail about it. Right now, this is the electromagnetic background chart on the Russian Schumann resonance chart. We had this earlier, and it's not showing up so great in this image. Let's see if I can get that any better. Nope, not going to do any better. This was earlier. This is what I call a slit that comes in where people are coming in and out, it seems, and people may choose to leave this dimension when you see these solid blue breaks in the chart. And then we had a small black spike here. And let's see, when was that? Hang on. That was on the, does that say 7th? No, that was yesterday. I always forget. They put the day and the month backwards compared to what we do here in my part of the world. So that is July the 11th. That was just yesterday. Time is wonky, especially for me, I think. Okay. I don't know why I said that. Maybe I'm just wonky. And this is today. This is this morning, happening right now. Okay. Now, let's take another look. Let me show you what is happening on the Russian Schumann spectrograph, which is the most famous of the Schumann charts. Here we go. This is, well, it's supposed to turn around. This is this morning. This is this morning. Yeah, look at that. Check that out. Nice big white out spike. And that goes all the way down. You see that white piece goes all the way from the top to the bottom. And this is, used to be, I think this would have registered even higher than it does. Because I really do think they dumbed the charts down. This is a 55 amplitude, or power 55. That particular spike I just showed you. So this is notable. It's notable and considerable. And this is happening this morning. And we also have the crazy coronal hole that a whole half of the sun is covered with what looks like sackcloth. Just to put it in biblical prophetic terms. All right. Now, let's quickly go and look directly at the charts and see what else is happening right now, because it's been a little while. Look at that. Okay, hold on. It's continuing. You see, this is the one we were just looking at. It goes all the way to the bottom, and this one is not quite making it to the bottom in pure white, but it's considerable. It stops before it gets to the bottom. So it's going to be hanging out at about 55 amplitude, or power 55 as it's popularly termed. And it is now covering, well, 12 was midnight Eastern Standard Time. 1, 2, so it started about 1:30 to 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's been going on for about 5 hours, 4.5, 5 hours. And this is not, this is up till now. It never hits exact by my figurings, because they don't acknowledge daylight savings time either in Russia, apparently. And I think they're smart for that. I wish we could get rid of daylight savings time. But this is very active. We got a lot of whiteout happening. And whiteout is the most intense energy on the Russian Schumann resonance chart. So, what else is happening? Well, let's go ahead and take another look at space weather, see if anything new is happening here. Chipper, everyone has already seen you, baby. They've already seen you. What else have you got to say? What? Oh, now look, if you're going to visit, don't go out of sight. Come here. Come here. Oh, brother. Well, okay. Enough distractions from the handsome black and white cat. All right. Nope, you're not coming up here. No, no. He's wanting to jump up here in the middle of everything. All right. The strength of the interplanetary magnetic field is moderate right now. So the interplanetary magnetic field looks like it looks like a big spiral with ridges, where you have the spiral, it's like raised up with troughs. And this runs throughout our entire Chipper. Now look, boy, that's quite enough. Okay, good heavens. He's feeling the energies, I think. I'm not sure which energies, but he made sleeping difficult last night. Now he's making a live chat difficult too. Maybe you all would rather see Chipper than me, though. Chipper is charming, aren't you, boy? Why don't you watch the birds? Okay, good. He's finally decided to watch the birds. You can't see them very well. There's a American goldfinch. They're lemon-colored birds. There's so much humidity on the window here. We get really high humidity where I live. So, the interplanetary magnetic field looks like that. It goes throughout our whole galaxy. And it definitely influences things. Now, we are not having a major solar flare right now, I don't think, but the charts tend to run behind, so we'll know pretty soon. And the aurora activity, let's take a gaze right here. And we are only at KP3. There's nothing huge to report there. Very calm, and they're not expecting it to get above KP4 today. But tomorrow, they're looking for KP5, so something must be coming in. And here is the aurora in the Earth right now. The hemispheric power is at 48 gigawatts. And the disturbance storm time index is still calm. I mean, it's not storming at this moment. Magnetometer, the other one here, looks pretty calm, and we're no longer in an absolute full moon, but it looks pretty full still to me. The BZ is south right now, and when it's in the south, you really tend to feel it more, because it's a matter of polarities between us and the sun. Okay, and then here's the interplanetary magnetic field. A lot of interesting troughs there. I'm not sure what that is. Maybe that's whatever it was, blacked out the sun in the images. And density, that's an interesting slide right there. But it's not at a high level. And solar wind is a little higher than total normal. And normal is, you know, around 300, 350. But this is nothing too notable, but you can tell from the yellow edging that it's just a little bit above normal. The colors tell you, the spikes and levels on these charts tell you. This is at an orange with an extra orange edge showing you that we're into an elevated level. And on the BZ chart, the red only demonstrates south. Green is north. So those do not read the same way. And on through. Okay, let's take a look quickly at the solar activity, and let's refresh the page. And let's see what's happening. Here's the coronal hole, which is considerable. And it's going to be letting a lot of solar wind through. And that takes a few days to reach here. Maybe that's part of what we're seeing at the KP5 estimated for tomorrow. Okay, and looking on through. Oh, okay, wait a minute. 8. We are currently at 11:50. Oh, 12:10. The UTC thing has been lagging lately. We're at 12:10 UTC. And check this out. This is at, okay. They may be adapting it to my time here. Here it's 8:10. That would fit right here. I don't know why they do it sometimes and sometimes they don't. But we have a spike in the solar activity. It's rising. Don't know where it's going, but we will see eventually. How about that? It's not to the M level yet, but it's getting into the high C level. And let's take a look at a few other things real quick. Everything's looking kind of normal. Now let's see more data. And this shows us this chart. And we can go to 2 hours. And this one has not even been updated. It doesn't really show. Let's look again. There we go. Now it's doing it. So this one is showing the spike is into an M level, just above M, into the M class flare. So we are in the middle of an M class flare right now, apparently, according to this. And yes, we are. Look at that. Okay, this is the flat map of the Earth. And this is showing us where daylight is right now. This is where the sun is shining on the Earth. And this is showing where the highest energy is concentrated. And you can see it's over Europe and Northern Africa and the ocean. So there you go. You know where you are. And what happens here is when we're in the middle of a solar flare, when one is actually happening, within the first 30 minutes, there will be a certain amount of energy in the form of protons and X-rays that come and hit the surface of the Earth. And that will happen, and it's usually pretty short-lived. And this is the chart to watch to see what's happening with that. You can see the legend is here below. The background is black, and then it goes to a purple, and then a blue, and then sort of a cerulean aqua type pale blue, and then to green, which is where we are right now. Then it goes to yellow and red. So here it is. That's where we are on the chart, and we are in the middle of a solar flare, but it looks like it's getting more of the pale blue, so it's settling down apparently. Let's refresh it again. Yeah, I think it's settling. So this probably has hit its peak, but this up here will not necessarily show us what's happening actively. Spreading it a bit, try and get a little bigger picture. So it's a low M flare. Let's go back and let's see if this one, we refresh it. Let's see if yes, it is showing us a little bit more. The charts will go back and forth. One will be updated when another one is not there yet. So the high point looks like it was an M157 at this point, and we're there. I don't know why it's so hazy right now. We are there right now. So as you can see, didn't mean to do that. As you can see, it's starting to level off, but it's still not level yet, and it could go back up. But at this point, we're probably nearly at the apex of the solar flare that's happening right now. Those of you who are always wanting to know how to read the charts, or you new folks, this is how you do it. This is the simplified Marguerite version of reading the charts. This over here is where you will see solar protons coming in. And you can see these lines here. There are three. There's a green, a blue, and a fuchsia purple. When these separate, and you can see the green has separated a little bit from the purple, but the blue is in there too somewhere. But there, now you got blue and green. This is still in the totally normal range, but when it starts separating out, it spikes up, and these strands become separated, and you hit this area. That's an S1 radiation storm, solar radiation storm, but things are looking fine at this point. Sometimes a coronal hole like this can throw you into a radiation storm or a really big solar flare. It all just depends, and we keep a watch on all of that stuff here. So let's check. Go up here to the triangle, and that will give you the current readings, current warnings and alerts, and we have the interplanetary magnetic field is moderate at 11.67 nanoteslas, and it's slightly south, which means we will feel it more because of the polarities, and the maximum X-ray flux of the past 2 hours is M1.64, so this is showing higher than the M1.59 or whatever it was we saw. So this is the current solar flare happening. And let's come back again. Let's look at one other thing while we're at it. This is not showing a whole lot, but let's touch it. Where is the solar flare? It looks like it's right here. This area right here appears to be the location of the solar flare. I can't always be right about this, but this appears to be the area. And if you want to know what area that is, you come up here, and this is the sunspot region, and these sunspots are where the solar flares are going to develop. So let's look here. That's the area we were just looking at. So it's sunspot 4140. That is where the solar flare is occurring right now. And this will show you all of the solar flare areas, all of the hot sunspots, and which ones they think are more significant. So just sharing some things I normally don't, because so many of you are interested in the charts. This one is a new one. I don't quite know what to think about it. we can take a look at it real quick. And it tends to show stuff like that. Did you see that? It tends to show what appears to be planets or the moon or whatever just crossing over, and there it goes again. But there is no explanation really, and that is a little solar flare showing up there. The time will be down here at the bottom. And this is starting over again. Okay, and while we're at it, if you all want to hang in here with me, let's go take a look at the alternative charts, and then let's see what we might find out as far as what is happening on the magnetosphere. Now Sugar's come to say hi. Well, hello, Sugar. Hi, baby. Oh, you're such adorable. Ain't you such a sweetheart? They both are. They each have their own personalities, and Tipper is not in my favor this morning after keeping us up last night. And I don't even know what he knocked over last night. I heard things falling. I haven't even gone down to look yet. All right, this is Cumiana, Italy. That's where this particular monitoring station is for the Schumann resonances. Now, let me explain something to some of you all. Many of you already know this. The Schumann resonance is called resonances sometimes because the culmination of many different resonances and readings, including the magnetic field and the spectrograph and different things like that. We have Sugar up here. All right, but you don't feel as pushy, and I appreciate that. Yes, you adorable girl. So, what was I saying? Oh, now Chipper's trying to come too. We're just having a morning. I love you too, baby. She's examining me, making sure I'm okay. You finding any problems? She often gives me a physical exam in the morning. Oh, I got a nose spot on my glasses now. I seem to have had some concerns from the doctor here at this point. What is it? What is it, baby? Okay, so, oh my goodness, what was I saying? So the Schumann resonances is a combination of many different registries that we look at on these charts. And the literal heartbeat of the Earth, as they call it, the baseline, is 7.83 hertz. It is the culmination of all of the charts together, and it literally is based on, see, it goes up and it comes down, and through a trough, you might call it, up to a point and down. And they, Sugar, and what they do is they register between the high points and the troughs, and that's how they come up with the baseline Schumann resonance, apparently. I hope I am correct about all this. And it's sort of like the resting rate for the heart. What do they call it? H, heart, whatever. And it's the in-betweens of your heartbeats that they're watching to see how far apart they are and all that sort of thing. Same thing with the Schumann resonance. That's the way we get those baselines. However, we watch the spikes big time here because the spikes are what we can feel shifting, you know, in our emotions and bodies. And I've had some people come on and try to be all that in a bag of chips. Most of them are simply saying what they've heard someone else say. And no, the baseline of the Schumann resonance does not really change. Hardly changes at all But that doesn't mean it isn't worthwhile to watch the spikes and the amplitude changes, which we call the power happening on the Schumann resonance, because that we definitely feel. And so I hope that clears some things up for people to understand. Apparently, when they put people in space for the first times, they started getting wonky physically and mentally. They weren't feeling or doing right. And they discovered if they piped in the 7.83 Schumann resonance baseline heartbeat of the Earth frequency into the spacecraft, then everybody felt normal again and their bodies behaved. That's how important this is to us. And with the new spikes coming in, and they are new, and it is as of the last, I guess now 7 or 8 years, we're seeing frequencies come in like have never been seen before. So it is what we're watching. We're watching spiking. We're watching amplitude, which changes constantly. But when it goes way out above range into unique areas, we're going to be watching that too. So yes, you'll see a lot of articles people throwing fits saying the Schumann resonance is not changing. There is no spiking. There is no changing. The Schumann resonance remains the same. Yes, the baseline will always be present. And we see that on the Russian chart very clearly. Those horizontal lines, there is the first Schumann resonance baseline, the second, the third, and now the fourth. But I will tell you, we didn't used to have that. That's kind of new. But now we're looking at Cumiana at this station, and this is observing the frequencies. This is intense, and this chart is normally the most boring and non-noticeable out of all of them. But look at this. This has been going on for days now. That is intense. Look at the geophone. This I'm pointing to right there. That is intense. We do have these funny horizontal columns that are showing up again, which I suspect are from some sort of man-made frequency, but I don't know that. It could be from some off-Earth thing, too. We got a lot of that going on lately. And notice the colors. Right here is our guide, and red is the most intense, yellow is intense, white is intense, and then to this kind of greenish, pale greenish, to a blue and black, okay? Black is the background, kind of a dark blue. Or actually, the background is blue. Maybe black is when we see the spikes, perhaps, would be the better use of that. Do we have a black spike here? I have to look kind of close on this one sometimes. No, I don't think that's a black spike. But we do have a lot of red spiking. And a lot of activity. And this one is kind of different looking. This is like, this chart seems ramped up to me, and I know they don't ramp things up, so that tells me the energies are high. But then this one, which is also Cumiana, but its readings are usually more demonstrative. They're usually more noticeable and more fun to observe. Well, you see the geophone is highly active on this one too, and then this thing, which, sorry, that was Sugar's tail. This thing right here shows us some activity also, but it's not as clear as to what it's saying to me. Here we see this goes from 0 to 105 hertz on the right. This one does work in hertz. And you can see we have spiking, but it's down in the lower, oh, we're having a white out, black out, gray out from Sugar. She's going to play with the shungite, it appears. Are you needing some shungite right now, sugar? You're playing. Maybe she feels led and drawn to the shungite at this point. Cute little animal. Okay. We are having some spiking, but it's not that demonstrative or noticeable or impressive on this chart. But this up here is showing us a different picture. I think this chart is being dumbed down, to be honest with you. I just don't believe that is a true measurement. And this was earlier on a while back. Let's just zoom through and let me show you something kind of crazy. Something happened on the 10th. You see the date right there? 7/10. Something happened and it got frozen. This chart has not changed since the 10th. A lot of these, this has not changed. This one is frozen also. This one is frozen. This one is frozen. Look at that. Very interesting signatures and markings there. This one is frozen. This is frozen. And this one is not frozen. But look at the anomalies. This is not what this chart is supposed to look like. This is, well, they're anomalies. Something odd is up, and though they are showing spiking, it's showing all these strange anomalies in the background. This one is up to date. This one is also, but here we see strange time compressions and repeating time. We got 8:30, 9:33, 8:26, 9:33, 8:26, 9:33. That is not the way this is supposed to go. So, whoops, we're definitely having anomalies and strange things happening with the charts. This one is up to date, and here we can see there was a spike here and it's rising. And this is up to date. Oh, look at that. That looks crazy. This is today. Check that out. That's almost reminiscent of the famous 2023 Father's Day crazy pattern that showed up. It almost looks like a tapestry weaving. Look at that. Odd things happening on the charts, and we are living in the end of an age. Look at that one. Look at the very top of this. There are energies and things hitting these charts that are, there's no way to describe it, but anomalies. And here we see that anomaly repeated on the short term, every 15-minute type chart. Okay, so we can say the energies are very active. They appear to be quite high. Oh, and let me show you something. There is absolutely no storming going on in Italy right now. And most of the charts that we just looked at are in Italy and out here on this island. Oops, I just messed that up. And one is in France, which is up that direction. But one of the people who has become quite sensational on YouTube likes to point out that lightning storms affect the Schumann resonance charts. And yes, of course it does. That's one of the biggest things that makes up what the Schumann resonance is made up of, is lightning strikes that go up into our atmosphere and begin to do a wave effect between the crust of the earth and the top part of our atmosphere, the ionosphere. And many times there could be a correlation, but most of the time there's not. You can have a big storm going and the chart looks very calm. It just doesn't always work that way. Okay, but it is worth considering and looking into and observing when you're checking out the charts. Let's take a look at the geospace magnetosphere cut planes movies. All right, these are models, that are kept up to date moment by moment. They cover a period of about 2.5 to 3 hours. And this slider at the bottom, once I crank it up, you'll see how it works that way. The legend here for velocity, I wish it wasn't hazy. I don't want to, hold on a minute. No, the lens is clean. I don't know why it's doing this, but this shows you, that's the Earth right here. The Earth is half white, half black. That's day side, night side. And that's our atmosphere right around us there. And then outside of this is showing part of the magnetosphere. And there are supposed to be shields coming across here, like in a bow. I call it a bow shock or bow shock, the shields. And in this point, they've kind of exploded outward. So let's, each of these different charts, this is velocity. The most intense is blue and green, and then yellow is mid-range, orange, and the background is red. So let's just touch this and crank it up and watch what's happening here. You watch the slider going across the bottom to see how our time is, and we're coming closer and closer to now. Oh, did you see the blue? Lots of blue and green, and we're coming up on about now. Okay. So this one is definitely showing a lot of activity. The shields are visible right now. Coming across, it's showing it's at 11 UTC time right here. Oh, wait, what was that? I'm glad we came and looked at this. See that stutter? It's like the whole thing just kind of stops and backs up. Did you see it? Let's look up closer. There it was. It's like a jiggle. This may be a timeline shift that we're observing in real life. Okay, y'all with me? Let's see if we see this show up on the other charts. This is density. And you can see the slider crossing over, and that occurred right about here on the other chart. You can see the shields clearly defined. Dark blue is the most intense. Woo! Look at that. There it is. There's the stutter. It's like it stops, goes backwards, and then moves forward again. Y'all see what I'm talking about? I think we're watching a timeline shift or a spatial anomaly happen right in front of our eyes. Coming across. And it's somewhere right in here. There it was, coming through, and we're coming up on about right now. New boom there. I just gotta look real quick. We're currently at 12:37 UTC. So let's activate the pressure chart. Most intense pressure is red on this chart, and it goes to orange, yellow, white, pale blue, and dark blue as the background. See the slider coming across. It's going to hit that little stutter point. Yeah, it was there too. Huh. Let's take a look at it again. Well, I missed it. There it was. It's very faint here on this particular chart. There it was. Okay, so we are seeing something is up here. The slider's coming across. Oop, reset itself. Coming over. Lots of activity, lots of density. Boom, something blew the shields outward, and there's that little stutter. Goes, yeah. Looks like it's doing a little dance, doesn't it? So that is, let me see if I can watch it, and the time, that 12:03 UTC. 12:03 UTC. So that was maybe why I was feeling so weird when we started out. See right here, 12:39. So that was about, not quite 40 minutes ago. Okay. I apologize. I'm just pulling you along with my research in live action. I hope you find this interesting, like I do. And of course, I'm showing you how I read the charts, how I read this. Let's watch the stutter on this one. There it was. Yep, it's about 12:03. Not as profound there. This one shows it more intensely. Yep, 12:03. And it actually covers more than that, but it's a couple of seconds maybe. I think we're seeing a timeline shift. I have recorded these in the past. I don't really want to record this one again in slow motion. But there it is. Okay. Dear friends, family, tribe, yeehaw. We live in exciting times. My goodness. Let's look real quick and make sure nothing new has happened on the Russian Schumann. Not much. It's holding pretty steady. So there we are. This is our current activity right here. White out, and then it's holding at about, the high point is 55 amplitude or power 55. The Q factor right here is really jumping up, and that tends to deal with its quality factor. It shows us how long these things will last, how effective they are, and how long the impact will continue. I'm having trouble getting my phone to enlarge. There we go. Okay. And here's our timeline shift from this morning. Not long ago. And this is yesterday's. So we're definitely moving into the age of Aquarius, as I say. I am an Aquarian. I don't know what that means, but I'm Aquarius all over the place with a little touch of Gemini. So my business personality is very different than my everyday personality. That's what I've been told anyway. Okay, I think we've had a good overview of what's happening here. I want to go back and show those of you who may have just joined us recently. This is one of the most exciting things of the morning for me. They may say we're in some sort of eclipse season. I don't know, but how is that an eclipse? That's the sun. The sun is made of plasma, which is gases and electrical stuff, as they say. It's like gaseous electrical stuff. It's not burning lava like I'd always thought as a kid. So how do you get a shadow on the sun? Now, when you're talking about a coronal hole, that's one thing. This is part of a current coronal hole. A coronal hole is an opening in all that plasma and surface fire. And this is our current coronal hole, okay, which will bring some solar winds and maybe a little storming to us in a few days, or maybe fairly soon, maybe even tomorrow, because we've been dealing with this for a little while. This, I don't know what we say about this. Whenever we see things like this, everything in me just kind of stands up and looks at it like, that's just not normal. That's not normal, or in my mind, explainable. You know, how can you, and one of my examples is, how can you put a shadow on a lit light bulb? You can't. You can't. So how does the sun get a shadow on it when there's an eclipse? And if it was a literal eclipse, it would have a rounded edge of being blacked out by the moon or whatever, passing over it. It would be that this is not a clean edge, it's ragged. Makes me think of the scriptural reference to prophetic things, where it talks about the sun was clothed with burlap. Burlap, you know, it's a very rough woven, darker type fabric. And there we have a very rough looking thing. I had a thought, and I'm just going to say it. If indeed our coronal holes are where the fire on the sun, the electrical plasma fire, is not present at that place, could there be something passing through space that is sucking the energy off of the sun and causing it to develop, just for a short time, a black coronal hole effect, and removing the sun from that, or removing the fiery plasma from that part of the sun? Then the next question would be, what the heck could do that? I could take you and show you, but it's hard to do. I'm going to do this one more thing, and then we'll call it quits for this live chat. I hope this has answered some questions for some of you. We've been wondering how to read the charts, and I used to have videos that you could refer to, but Facebook has removed everybody's videos that were from 30 days old or before. Here is our recent solar flare that occurred during our live here. The high point on it was M164. It occurred at 8:10 UTC -4. Okay, they are adjusting it to my time. So basically it happened at 8:10 AM Eastern Standard Time. Okay, M164. And that actually took place while we were on the live chat. That also could have been what made me feel like my energy sort of went to water. Some of you had mentioned that you were feeling something like that in the comments too. Okay, there we are. We are caught up. And am I going to do this? I think I'm going to do it. Okay, I am going to do it. We're going to go in for more data here. We're going to come in and look at the SDO. And we're going to watch this particular, we're going to watch it in high cadence. Now you're going to have to look and look. Watching See, this little timer at the bottom is showing how time is passing. It's currently on the 11th. So you can see all the activity going on the sun's surface as it's slowly turning to the right. You can see some filament activity, it looks like. Some flaring. Look at that. That's crazy. That is like some sort of shutter thing, I think. Why is it showing us that far back? It doesn't make sense to me. It's gone back in time. Oh, now it's gone back to July. That was crazy. Okay, let's keep watching. This is where we are. That isn't right. It's showing it's August. What? I may be... Whoa. Did y'all see that? Let's watch that again. There. Like a shaking took place. I am not sure what this thing is doing. Whoa, okay. Wow, look at that. Now it's... That was messed up, y'all. I'm running it backwards. That was crazy. Okay, all right, can't just stop there. Let's come up here. We can watch it in cadence on here. And let me enlarge it. Okay, why aren't you showing us anything? All right, back up and go. Are you all still here? Am I still here? That was, my phone was acting very oddly right then. Okay, let's call it quits for now. Now that I've dug into things, I'm wondering what in the world is happening. The energies are high today. There is no doubt about that. And I think there are a lot of immeasurables in the works, things that aren't showing up on the charts. So, pardon me. I probably will need a nap today because of Chipper's editing of my sleep last night. So, wear your scalar energy, use your orgonite. If you have shungite, use that. Use everything you can to help you flow better and to acclimate to the things that are in the works right now. We're living in exciting times, there is no doubt about it. And we're in very changing times. I want you to realize and think this way though. We influence the earth. We influence our reality. What we think about, what we feel, what we set our intentions on. We are changing our world and those around us by what frequency, what attitude, what kind of intention, what sort of expectation we are producing, generating, and staying in. So, we're not victims here. We chose to be here, apparently. This is our destiny. This is our place. And, Yes, we're at the end of an age and the beginning of a new era, a new earth, whatever you want to call it. And we are not helpless. This is time for us to amp it up. It's time for us to rise to the occasion. If you believe you are a chosen vessel, a star seed, there's so many different names for things nowadays. If you believe you were here for a reason and are here for a reason, it's time to stand up and be that right now. So don't let your body and its feelings and moods and emotions or any of that stuff control you. Don't let it stop you from your destiny. The world and the people of the world need you right now. So stand up and be everything that is in you right now. And I was telling a friend the other day, I was in a rah-rah mood, and I said, I'm not waiting anymore for something else to happen. I'm not waiting for some new occurrence. I don't want to wait for some whatever else. I'm going to live right now with everything I have. I don't want to be stuck between by circumstances or feelings or stupid car wrecks. I'm moving forward. Our bodies, our everything, our circumstances respond to us. Doesn't have to be just the other way around. Let's love as many people as we can. Let's be as kind as we can. Let's make an impact for the good in as many places as we can. Let's do it, and let's do it now, because this is what we're here for. So remember, we're not going through all this for nothing. We're going someplace really good. 5D. Mwah. Love you.